Everybody, we have had a very busy last 5 days. They have been intense, they have been emotional, they have raised our awareness, they have raised our will, and they have brought us together. Sometimes we have discussed passionately, sometimes we agree, sometimes we disagree. That's exactly the whole idea of having an international congress. Different views coming together, confronting ideas, finding common pathways, and then moving forward. In my remarks, I feel the first order of business should be to recognize and acknowledge and thank to all of the organizers here in Thailand. And I would like to start with recognizing Professor Tep Himantongin, who has been the Secretary General of ICN 2009 and the second President of the Nutrition Association of Thailand. I would also like to acknowledge Associate Professor Amor Wasantiwoods, who's been in charge of the scientific committee. Of course, we've all acknowledged and recognized Dr. Tracy Tontisiri as President of the ICN 2009. And although she's not here, we all have felt her presence in our discussions. And of course, Her Royal Highness has been a very important element to show the commitment of the highest level authorities of Thailand to the work in nutrition and social development. We have been impressed with the epigenetics. We also have learned of new ways to prevent malnutrition in its multiple forms, starting from conception and before conception, throughout fetal life, early life, and then adulthood into older years. It's impossible to summarize, and when I will not attempt to summarize the last 5 days of discussion. Her Royal Highness the Princess, when she expressed her views, she said that she had some indigestion. It's like going into a restaurant and trying to eat all the dishes in the menu. At the same time, I think that predominantly I have heard all good things. But on the side of accountability, it's important to learn from this process. In addition to the many good things, I was told by some of you, and that's why I'm acknowledging this in this podium, because I think it's important, that we should examine some of the practices that relate to our mission. And of course, Congress such as this needs to be supported and funded, but some of you suggested that perhaps there was too much commercial interest present at the meeting. This was in fact addressed by the IUNS Assembly yesterday in our discussions, and I'm happy to inform that a process has been set in place in terms of establishing an ethics committee that will examine in a realistic manner and assess the practices, and at the same time consider within the private sector the compatibility of private interest with some of the basic mission of the international nutrition community, which is guided by public interest and public health and good nutrition. So this is not a judgment, this is a process in place, and we hope that that process, which will be taken up by the IUNS Ethics Committee with global representation and in partnership with the World Public Health Nutrition Association, will lead to some guidelines for the next Congress where this could be applied. There were specific concerns by some of you in terms of the issue of the breast milk substitutes and the code of marketing of breast milk substitutes. And I asked 3 members of the international community to examine this, and I have received their feedback. And in general, I think that what we saw was mainly compliance with the existing codes, with some exceptions, but more importantly, there was concern not only what might happen within the venue, but also some of the practices that are being observed on a worldwide basis. So this topic already has a code established, and part of our responsibility will continue to be to play an active role in monitoring it. As I said, I'm not here to provide final judgment, that's not my role. I'm here to provide accountability of the IUNS in terms of a process that has been put in place that will orient this. And we will summarize this in a short letter to the Public Health Nutrition, so a record of this can be obtained. My next order of business, and I'd like just to show 2 slides, I think. We came here mainly because we have a dream. I hope that that dream pushes us in our wishes, in our desires to do. We have learned from the science what to do. And I think all of you, by the end of this session, have reflected on what you're doing vis-a-vis the quality of the science you have heard. We have also seen that we need to renew our science and our knowledge to make it more appropriate to fulfill this dream. But we have also learned that knowledge is not enough, and we had a brilliant presentation of how practice, in fact, drives action as well, if not better, than science. And after we have the knowledge and the practice, we can say with Obama, yes, we can. But as I said in the beginning of the meeting, in my opening remarks, we also need the passion and the emotion to lead us to, yes, we will. And after we have learned what we do and how to do, and we've gone to yes, we can and yes, we will, I think our challenge is to, over the next 4 years, be able to get to Granada and say, yes, we have done. Yes, we have learned, and we will come to Granada to share this with others in order to continue progress. And this is a cycle that I think we should be carrying out at the national level, international level, and at the regional level. Hopefully not exclusive to our discipline, but be inclusive with all others that have to do with good food and nutrition, as we just heard from a good developmental economist of how to change the nutrition of a village. So I charge you with doing, learning, and sharing with others in order to continue progress. Lastly, we as scientists project our own vision, and the vision regarding what to do and how to do, that at least I play a role, and many of you play a role, through the Standing Committee on Nutrition, the Nutrition Challenges for 2000, is this simple message that in fact was produced by a Thai member of the group, who in fact is Dr. Sintarsi, who is a woman, and you can see the sensitivity of women. To live a life without malnutrition is a fundamental human right. The persistence of malnutrition in this world of plenty is immoral. A moral statement is the first level of commitment. With collective efforts at the community, national and international level, ending malnutrition is both credible and achievable as a goal. I think though, many times people from outside the field see this in a better way. These are the words of Gabriela Mistral, Nobel laureate in poetry, that I think are very much in line with what we'll discuss here. Many things we need can wait, children cannot. Now is the time their bones are being modeled, their blood is being made, the brains and minds are developing. To him